Sons of Atticus are two musicians named Matt Joyce and Dylan Wright. According to their Instagram bio, they are just a couple of buddies trying to make country music. It's safe to say they are succeeding. They released the album Jack's Motel in 2021, the EP Cedar Creek in 2023, and this year they have a new single, Tennessee Tipsy, and I think some other things coming up. So we have a fair bit to talk to them about. Hello, Matt, and hello, Dylan.
Hello.
How are we? Thanks for having us.
It's great to have you both. I remember the first time I interviewed you a few years ago now, I think around the time Jack's Motel came out, actually. I ended the interview thinking, well, that was just a delightful conversation. So you made my job very easy then. And I'm going to presume that will continue. In that original interview, we did talk about the band's history, but that was a while ago. And so I'd love to recap it. And I'm going to start with the name of the band. So it's a reference to the famous novel To Kill a Mockingbird and the character Atticus Finch. Either one of you or both, please let us know why Atticus Finch had such an impact on you.
I love that book and film. I think he's such an important character, Atticus Finch. And we were kind of, at the time, we were wearing black and white suits and our whole Instagram and Facebook was black and white. So it kind of fit that mold of To Kill a Mockingbird. Matt's, I think you've still not seen.
No.
So he's got no idea.
Yeah.
But it's Gregory Peck.
Yeah.
Gregory Peck is Atticus Finch.
Yeah. All right. Right.
Yeah.
We needed a name. We got a name. On with business.
I don't actually know that they've ever remade that movie. I think it was probably too good. The original was too good.
Yeah. Can't beat the best.
Yeah.
Yes.
I am going to ask you about this black and white suit situation, though, because that suggests that you were already thinking about band aesthetics, and that's not that common. But I do think it's really important and interesting to talk about. So what prompted the suits?
We originally, when we sort of started talking about the project and really got along as friends in the first place with our love for just old country music and, you know, your Johnny Cash and your Patsy Cline and Elvis and all that kind of stuff, we just thought it would be a cool idea to just try something different. And there was this portion of our existence, I guess, with this project where everything was a black and white themed post. We had the suit and the bolo tie kind of set up, and we tried to be kind of thematic, I guess, with what we were doing there. And then
it was like old school country.
Yeah,
that was our sound.
Yeah, but then it all just kind of got to a point where we, the project kind of evolved into music we just like making, and it evolved out of the black and white theme, and we moved into the color world.
Yeah, it's exciting times.
Yeah. It's like the color TV
like moving
in.
from a soundie.
But also this feeds into the whole story of how you started making music together. So obviously you had common musical interests. Was that what brought you together?
Yeah, Matt's mum actually came and saw me play when I was doing my solo stuff, and she was like, "Hey, you should go check out this guy. He's local as well." And at that stage, we had no idea who each other were. But the other day, we figured out we played against each other in OzTag on the same side.
Yep.
And he hated my team. Hated. So that was exciting. We won a grand final.
So did we. So
did you win a grand final against each other's team?
Yeah.
We
were at 12 or so.
Yeah, and we had. I was just telling Jill, we were just talking, and I was just like, "Did you play OzTag?" Because we thought we might have versed each other in soccer back in the day without knowing each other, and then we brought up OzTag the other day, and I just started ranting about this team that were kind of our arch rivals, our nemesis, I was going to say.
It's hilarious.
And as I'm talking about it, he's like, "I'm pretty sure that was the team." And I was like,
"Great team."
He's like, "I played on the left wing." I was like, "I was on the right wing," and obviously important players of the team.
Yeah.
And we were like kind of back to back for a few years where we won a grand final, they might have won one,
so we've known each other longer than we thought.
And this is in the Shire.
Yeah, this is Shire.
Sutherland Shire, yes.
Yep. Then Matt's mum came and said, "Go check him out." And we kind of linked up over some Mexican and some beers and a few more beers. And then just the love of country music. So we started jamming together and we're like, "Hey, let's write some songs." And then it's just blossomed since then.
I do love that idea of you, well, not the idea, the fact of you playing OzTag against each other, because it's sort of this whole parallel dimensions of time almost. It's like in that dimension of time, you're rivals. In this dimension of time, you're best friends and collaborators.
Yeah. Lucky I didn't recognize him the first time we met. Otherwise, I might
Big
not
ankle tap.
might not have spoken to him. Yeah.
So obviously you both played Oz Tag for quite a few years.
Yeah, and I won a lot of competitions.
Okay.
I think I only won one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and soccer. Yeah, all the
because we did play for the same. We played for the same soccer club, and we're the exact same age. So we did think that perhaps there was a year where we played in the same team, but I wasn't very good, so I was sort of down that back end of the old soccer spectrum, I guess.
But you did both like team sports. And I think that's always interesting to contemplate when I talk to musicians who play sport of any kind, particularly team sports. If you're in a band, that idea that you know how to work together collaboratively towards
the parallel.
Yeah, I think it's so useful.
Yeah, definitely. I think we work well together.
I would say so.
Yeah.
And when you started writing songs together, was it easy? Like, did you find you could communicate well together?
Yeah, I think we either each had a song idea and we kind of put it to the group and was like, hey, what can we change? Can we quicken it up or go a different direction? I think over the years where we've done that now, have we frozen? Or we're still
No, I'm here.
We're good, okay. Like, oh.
I just had an immobile face still, and I was.
No.
I was just having a stare off everything.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's been good that we can kind of go in a different direction sometimes, different chords, different. It doesn't just have to be verse chorus, and we're not against saying yes and going down that avenue or anything. So, yeah, it's changes.
I think we're spending a bit more time together now in recent times with everything that's sort of been going on, which has been good. I think the last time we spoke, I might have still not even made my way up north yet. So we were.
No, Dylan was trying to convince you, I think.
We we were doing that distance thing for a while, or even prior to that, we were still for a long time working full-time jobs and still fitting in music when we could, and then on top of everything going on in our lives, finding that time to actually get together and write. A lot of it was going on separately, and then we would bring ideas to the table, and sometimes it would be a full song from one of us ready to go that we might tweak a little bit or change, or an idea might start, and we will, if we've got the time, we will try and get something going in that moment. So now it's been good to be traveling so much together that we've got plenty of hotel room time or time before or after shows to sit down and have a muck around with some more ideas.
And I will ask you about that, but just still on the songwriting part. So when you weren't physically in the same area of New South Wales and you were writing separately and bringing ideas to each other that way, as opposed to sitting down together, was that a songwriting method that you actually thought, okay, yeah, this is just as valid and I enjoy this as much, or do you really prefer writing together in the same room?
I think it kind of depends on the song, maybe. It's cool when Matt comes with an idea and it's like that's when he was in that zone, and then I try and not change it too much, but have ideas that can open some doors, and the same vice versa. So yeah, it kind of helps, keeps it exciting, and the songs keep coming, so it's always good.
And I think I've always found it's never really a one size fits all for me. I love the time together and that writing in the moment, but I also have this kind of thing where I like to have my own time to even kind of push myself more rather than being on the spot, because what comes off the cuff is great and you have those magical moments, but there's times where I think, what can I do here that's better than what I'm thinking, or something's going to push myself, especially with the guitar side of things as well, when it comes to coming up with, if we've got a section that we've got dedicated to a guitar solo, and that there is the stuff that you're comfortable to tinker around with, but in that side of things I really do try to make sure I'm pushing myself a bit and not falling into comfort too much.
And I like the of doing a song in a day.
Yeah. This song, which we will get to talking about too even more, but that was one of these moments where we'd planned to have 3 days of recording, and the studio we were going to, there was flooding going on in the area at the time. We had to reschedule the dates, and we ended up cutting it down to 2 days. with the thought that maybe we'll just tack on a third day at some stage. And we'd had everything done in the 2 days minus the 2 guitar solos, basically, because I thought I was going to be going away. They weren't really in the back of my mind. I had some rough ideas what I was going to do. And it was one of those moments where I was, that's all that we had left for the day. So it was like, okay, we're going to have to just get it done. I'm not going to have that time to go home and play over the bounces or anything like that. It's like, let's come up with it. And I'm stoked with what we did come up with, which is great. But I think in the back of my mind, I always do like those little like moments to myself to make sure I'm happy with it.
Yeah, right. And I think that's reasonable too, to let things marinate for a while, like it just gives a chance for your brain to work on it while you're not consciously thinking about it, probably.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of everything that's gone on recently, there was quite a lot of going on recently, not just for you, Dylan, because Matt was on this ride with you as well. So last time I spoke to Dylan, it was as an individual. He had just won Australian Idol. You were about to go on a tour, and I remember saying, is Matt going with you? Or asking if Matt was going with you, and you'd said to him you couldn't do it without him. But I also was realizing that there were Sons of Atticus shows going on and Dylan Wright shows going on with Matt there. So clearly it was like parallel tours for a while.
Yeah, it was a bit chaotic last year. I was thinking about it the other day. I don't know how I did it.
How you did it either.
Yeah, no, it was silly. It's kind of like I woke up and was like, what is happening? Why are you so tired? So yeah, it was good. I think it's funny how it's always like when it's my show, Matt's also there, or when it's Sons of Atticus, we're both there anyway. So we kind of play a couple of Sons of Atticus songs at my shows, and we might do one of mine at a Sons of Atticus show.
Yeah.
So we kind of keep it, they're separate, but they're on their little own paths.
Yeah. And so I think I always like to talk about the work side of things. I think people are interested in talking about work. You just said you don't know how you did it. Was there a sense for you of almost surrendering to the experience, just saying, okay, I'm just going with this? I hesitate to say go with the flow, because there was not a lot of flowing. You were working super hard, but it's just that sense of, well, this is fixed. This is happening. I have small children and like a life at home as well, but I'm just going with this.
Yeah, I think I've worked for 15 years trying to be a musician, and like this is the trajectory of what I want to do. I want flights and long drives and sleepless nights and writing music, recording, playing it. So this is kind of what I've been preparing for those 15 years. So I didn't care if I was sleeping for like 4 hours a night and just writing like all the time. So I think I was ready for it really at the end of the day. And now I'm kind of used to that flow of not much sleep and trying to get things done, and emails and meetings and flights, and it's exciting.
Yeah. And I also think, watching you do that at the time, I was thinking, well, because Sons of Atticus had been a unit for so long, and just the way you two had worked together, and my impression of the two of you working together from when I last interviewed you, it was this incredibly rich, supportive relationship. And I'm sure you would say, Dylan, that you couldn't have got to Idol without this organism that is Sons of Atticus.
Yeah, definitely. I think, and coming back to that team sports, I've been in different bands in the past, but the support network of this band especially has been incredible for learning so many different things in songwriting, being on the road, and we just kind of get each other, knows what needs to be done. We're there on time and we get it done.
Yeah. So Matt, I'm sure it was somewhat amusing / odd for you to be looking at the TV going, that guy.
Yeah, I can't believe like Home and Away is still a show. Like because I don't really watch much telly, and you'd get ready on your Sunday arvo after dinner and get ready to put the show on, and you'd always catch like the last 2 or 3 minutes, and you're like, what's going on here? But it was a weird one, because we were in whatever year it was now, we were in Tamworth parting ways from the Country Festival, and I was going home. He was going down to Sydney to do more filming, and literally as we parted, got in the car, he's like, I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Like, I don't know what's going on, and just didn't come home. He was just smashing it week by week. So kind of got to a point where like we're like, he's going to take this out. I think he just was just there. So we went down and caught one of the live shows, and then obviously when it got to the grand final, went down to that with a bunch of friends and family as well. So it was a crazy moment. But like you said, it was one of those things where it happened, and everyone that was there who obviously knew that Dylan and I had played, like I played guitar for Dylan as just doing Dylan Wright shows before, while we were in the, works of Sons of Atticus and everything. So it's kind of this full circle moment now where we're doing both, but because we've been doing that for quite a number of years, everyone's question to me was straight away like, what does this mean for you? Like, are you involved in this or what? And I had no idea. Like, half an hour prior to these questions, we didn't even know what was going to happen. And I hadn't seen him. We normally talk on the phone nearly every day, I'd say, just about stuff we've got to do and just, hey, how are you as well? But, everything that's sort of going on with stuff that we've got coming up and whatnot. And we didn't really have that over that period of time because it was just so hectic and full on for him that I had no idea. And I look, at the end of the day, I was like, I was telling them, I was like, he is insanely talented and deserves any of those successes. So whatever happens from it, I know I'm going to be wanting, I'm as passionate about playing music and taking it as far as I can with it in whatever way I will. So I'm always going to be trying to pursue that regardless. So whatever I'm a part of is great, and I would have loved to. And that was pretty much the case, which was nice. So, but I was like, if you get swooped up and becomes a big diva or something, then that's, so still time. But no, it was pretty clear not too long after the dust kind of settled after that week how involved I was going to be. So it was good. It was good to hear.
Well, and I suppose that machinery as well that kicked into gear to organise things for you, Dylan, as much as it was like 4 hours sleep a night. Hopefully there was also some support organising those tour dates.
Yes. Yeah, big time support. Got an amazing team now, and I've never really had that with a musical sense. So Matt works well with them, and I kind of just rock up to the venue. It's it's awesome that everyone kind of works well together and just gets along. Yeah. And it's driven, which is, I think, the main point.
Well, and also to reference your 2023 song, Good Guys, there's a refrain in that says, good guys finish last. And I would like to present your Australian Idol victory as well. That's not the case.
Well, you see, I'm a diva, so...
Yeah. The things you see behind the camera,
Well, there you go. Well, then, okay, fine. The song was So you mentioned earlier, Matt, recording Tennessee Tipsy. This is your new single. And obviously... yes, you recorded it not in the circumstances you were expecting. I was surprised you had time to write anything amongst everything that was going on last year. So at what point did this song get written?
Yeah, this was actually recorded a year prior.
Yeah, so we've done some recording and these would have been probably out to the world by now, but we had to let last year breathe and see how everything went. And and as Dylan said, he's got such a great team from the management side of things, and we've got a really good relationship with making everything work as well. So we want to make sure that we're not clashing with anything from both sides of the things when it comes to releases and everything. So it's just I
think we recorded it in like 2023.
January is usually our recording time. So if it wasn't,
so we've been sitting. We've got a couple just sitting there waiting.
January 2024. It would have been the start.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Before Tamworth. Before
Tamworth. We usually get in and try to record before Tamworth. So it's each year. So.
Record Tamworth Idol.
Yeah. So we
and I think we wrote it a year before that even.
Yeah, and we've again, things we'll touch on moving forward with the conversation. But we recorded other music there as well, which of course we're looking to release also. But
yes, you've preemptively taken that question from me, Matt. Yes, thank you.
I'll take the interview from here, guys. So it's again, we kind of go in these cycles where the time before Tamworth is a little bit of I think, because we would have a bit of time off work and that chance to get together and collect some ideas and then almost pressure ourselves with that studio as well, trying to stick to a January schedule and just get ourselves I don't even know what I'm saying.
No, but I was actually going to ask that once you mentioned January, I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Of course, it makes sense when you were having your day jobs and working towards the end of the year, and there's a bit of a lull. I get a bit of a lull. I don't know how much there is these days for anyone, but was it the same studio each January that you were going to?
No, we switched it up a few times. These ones were recorded with Jared Adlam.
Okay.
So he's in Mount Tambourine. Before that, we did JB Patterson.
Yep, in Cedar Creek, named after the EP. So that was, we've just tried different experiences.
Yeah.
This and that was linked to the songs we were releasing as well. So we kind of knew that working with Jared was going to probably complement these songs a bit more, as opposed to the prior release was in a solar powered cabin in the bush, and we were really limited for sort of resources and equipment. And I had my guitar amp, which is a small guitar amp in the first place, to sort of use to record. And JB was like, we can use it, but we'll probably have to set a generator up, which I can do, but it's like, it's probably going to be a bit noisy and counterproductive. So yeah, we just kind of embraced that experience and used the resources we had available to us. And that was kind of more the style of those songs. Whereas this one, we wanted to
more poppy.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, Jared is known for country pop, country rock. And when you are an artist or band, thinking about changing producers, because I would imagine you hear about it from other people, you're listening to some music. Are there particular, so you've talked about Jared being a more suitable producer for this style of song, but generally speaking, how are you sorting out producers? Like how are you gleaning that information and I suppose assembling it, waiting for the time when you make a decision?
I think it's word of mouth and the kind of music we like, but also we just want to work with people we like and get along with. I think that's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Just if we can have a laugh and, not getting shut down with ideas or anything like that. He's just a genius. And he's just so lovely. So it kind of helps the whole flow, and he can do every instrument. So it just brings it. It's like, here's the song, here's our idea, and he just like takes it up a whole level.
And his busyness is, I guess, a reflection on how he is. We're hoping he can have us back sometime.
Yeah. His name's been coming up more and more lately. Is partly why I'm interested, because I talk to quite a few artists and I hear different names coming through. And Jared, I have to say, is the producer at the moment in terms of the artists I've been interviewing.
We should stop talking about him, actually.
Yeah.
You can't get in. Book 2 years ahead. Don't even try.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but given that you did record it in January last year, to sit on something for that long, when you could put it out, releasing a song, you can put it on streaming platforms and get it out pretty quickly. Admittedly, you want to have a campaign around it, but do you kind of get itchy thinking, I really wish it was out now?
Yeah, I think we listened to it 1,000 times.
Yeah. But there was also so much going on that it was one of those things where, of course, we wanted to have them out, or we had them where we thought that they might have gotten released in that calendar year. But at the same time, it was just such a strange year, and there was so much going on. And as we were saying, like, I was helping with a lot of behind the scenes stuff in regards to upcoming shows with production contacts and any of that kind of stuff as well. So it's like I was still sort of doing some things that I'd never really done before and was getting in and amongst all that as well. So there was just on all sides, plus Dylan was doing, he wrote about 1 million songs in a month and released an EP and got the whole thing out, within that second half of the year. And so we would always still, even traveling to our shows and stuff, we would every now and then, let's just get that up, have a listen.
It's
and
still good.
Yeah, sure. So no, we were always excited to release it, and excited that time, has come around. But I think we might have also been a little distracted with everything else.
It all happens at the right time. So we're happy that it's out now, and how well it's been doing as well.
Well, it's great that when you were listening to it, you were thinking, it's still good, as opposed to, I wish we'd done, X, Y, Z in that second chorus, or something else you could have thought at the time.
Yeah. No, we're happy. It's
good, and right? I think, I think these songs are a perfect example of that, because I always just pick apart every little thing, and I just think like, I wish I did that instead of that, and which I think is good to like keep developing as you move into your next songs and recording and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like these ones, it's the least or I barely do any of it. I feel like talking about those guitar solos is like, oh, I wish I had that like time to myself, but I also am stoked with how it all turned out. So yeah, I feel like I can switch off more. I can listen to it and be like, just enjoy the song. Don't have to think, here comes that moment where I should have done this better. Or
But it does sound like, Matt, you may have perfectionistic tendencies, which are not a bad quality in an artist. Dylan, do you have them as well?
No.
It's like the balance works, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I feel like but he's great at everything as well, and we'll just sort of do the bit and be like, that'll do. I'll be like, that was great, but can we try like this as well, or like just better to have these ideas, and we can always scrap them if not. But with sometimes with the guitar side of things, I can be a bit. I think just because in the back of my head, I'm like, this is getting locked in, and I like the music that we're making, and I want to listen to them as well. And even some of the songs that we've been doing as of late, it's one of those things where it's like I hope people listen to them, but I also genuinely just enjoy it myself, and that's enough for me at the moment. With some of them, I'm like, I just really think this is a lot of fun, and we've done well for ourselves, and if people get into it, that's also really good too, and I hope they do. But I won't mind. I'll still listen to it myself.
It is fun, and I'm very fond of saying lately, fun is underrated. And I also like the fact that, yes, it's a drinking song, but I love the fact you use the word tipsy, which doesn't get used much anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's normally people are either drunk or they're not.
Yeah.
Tipsy in and of itself is underrated.
Yeah, exactly. One or two, that's fine.
Yeah.
We wanted to have a bit of a fun song. It's a bit cheesy, but it's funny when we play it live and someone's heard it for the first time, they just crack up laughing. So
yeah.
And good. We had that kind of year where we thought, the song might have been out by then, so it's been getting played. It's been getting a lot of miles on the road, and playing it to people that have, listening to it for the first time. When that first sort of chorus kicks in and the cheesy pickup line gets, you see it, people, kind of register and have a little chuckle, and it's good fun. I think a lot of our, like, what I really love about country music and the songwriting side of things is the rawness and the honesty and the storytelling and all that. And Dylan's such a phenomenal songwriter in his own right.
Nice.
No pun intended. Fully intended.
Nice. Anyways. So I think this was just one of those exceptions where it was just just have a bit of fun with it, and it doesn't necessarily have to be related to something that is you've experienced or something like that. It's just, let's just have a bit of fun, make it fun. Just a story.
So you mentioned other songs were recorded. Presumably there is a release schedule, but I'm also guessing you have been playing those on the road too.
Yeah, for the past couple years.
yeah.
So we've got it nice and ready for the road. But that's. Are we going to say when the song's coming out?
I mean, this could be an exclusive announcement here, because we nobody except us.
You certainly don't have to. There is no pressure to do an exclusive.
Pressure.
No, I think that's fine.
Go for it.
We have just scheduled our next single to be released on Friday, May the 16th.
Okay. All right. Well, I will make sure this interview is out before then, so everyone knows it's an exclusive review. Well, that is exciting. But given that, yes, you have, so these songs were recorded in January 2024. There's been a lot going on. And also your schedules have changed. Clearly, you're not necessarily working the full-time job with looking for the break at the end of the year. So are you now looking to do some recording that's not in a January?
Yeah, we'd love to. If everyone could stop using Jared.
If Jared could answer our messages. We've dropped the line, and we are going to tee up more studio time, which is going to be more of a halfway through the year kind of arrangement. We're breaking
plenty of songs to come through.
Yeah.
And plenty of songs you can also take to the Gympie Music Muster, which is on in August. Now, the big question, are you camping there as well as playing?
Oh, absolutely. Every time.
Always.
Swag.
But I say that's the thing that puts me off, because I'm not a big camper. I'm like, everyone says this road is almost impassable, particularly if it rains. Then you track there.
That's an if. They got glamping.
Okay, there you go. So, because Gimpy, I think, is growing in prominence every single year. And certainly, the lineup is announced earlier and earlier every year. For you, as festival performers, but also you played in other venues, do festivals take different preparation?
Yeah, I think so, definitely, because there's such a wide variety of people, different ages and backgrounds, and people who don't know who you are. So we want to bring our stories and just what we do, just fun and jokes and everything, but also be broad enough that they can relate to the songs and everything too. So there might be a couple of covers, but still the good old Sons of Atticus songs.
Yeah, we've started to, especially with the Sons of Atticus side of things, the Gimpy Muster last year was the first time that we actually played that act with a band accompaniment, and it was just it just felt like such a game changer. We got a couple of guys to join us who we actually met for the first time before we went on the stage to play the song. So it was a bit fast and loose. We didn't
As in literally just before you went on stage.
Yeah, we didn't have a rehearsal for it. We'd sent songs and some charts and we, hey, how are you? Anyways, let's get up and
hurry up, we're late.
And we literally just had to do a line check, which most festivals is the case. We didn't have a sound check or anything, so we would just line check. We played like a snippet of one of the songs, and I was kind of like, "Ooh!" I kind of looked at Dylan. This is nice. This feels good. It sounds bigger, and yeah. So we've had to just make sure that we can sort of keep doing that where appropriate. So we'll be sorting that out again for the Gimpy Muster this year. And it's just cool to be able to do, have these full circle moments now where we've got a country music festival, which is one of our favorites, where we're doing a Dylan Wright set and we're doing a Sons of Atticus set. So it's
double up.
Yeah, it's worked out really well.
How much of a break do you have between them? As in days wise?
Yeah, a day. And then I have to race to a wedding. So a bit of a busy weekend.
Yeah.
Big few days.
And so planning ahead, because, obviously a lot of the planning was done for you last year, but planning ahead and focusing on Sons of Atticus. So you're hopefully recording, you have Gimpy Music Muster. Are you already planning Tamworth next year?
Oh, yeah, always.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever not play.
Unless they, ban us from the town, we'll be coming back every year.
Came close last year.
No.
I saw you breathe. Well, I could barely see you at the Welder's Dog last year because I attempted to. I did get in only with a media pass because they weren't letting anyone else in. It was packed, and it was because it's not as small a venue as it looks like, the Welder's Dog, if that makes sense. And there were a ton of people in there, and so I managed to just get up the front and walk away. But where did you play this year in Tamworth?
We played at Moonshiners,
okay,
which was sold out, which was awesome. But yeah, we played with supporting Andrew Swift at Blazes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was our first time playing at Blazes, which was fun.
Yeah, I think we kept it a bit more short and sharp, just with like putting on a ticketed show as well. I guess trying to focus on making that the focus of it and trying to get people to that one. But it was always nice to, we've been a fan of Andrew's for a long time, and he's just such a great bloke and has been really nice with, tips and tricks of the trade as we were kind of sort of up and coming and meeting him at other festivals and things like that. So to be able to actually do a show together with him and his band, who are also great blokes as well, it was a really nice time. And then straight off to the Golden Guitar Awards after that, which was big night.
Yeah.
Long night, not a crazy. No tipsiness. We were playing at a festival in Cronulla the very next day, so we were up at Sparrows to.
My goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I'll say for your sound the whole way through, from the earliest releases, it has been the standard is consistently high, if that makes sense. So that suggests to me that you continue to have great communication with each other, but also that you have a commitment to the standard being high. So that's a comment, not a question. Because we're coming to the end of the conversation, but anyone who wants to see you live, I am quite sure that standard is also very high, because that's who the two of you are. So I will say thank you, Matt, and thank you, Dylan, for your time. And I look forward to that new release halfway through May.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.